mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas.
Kayang magiliw, tewas ng silanganan, alam ng puso, sa dikit mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, kuya ka ng magiping, sa manluluping, di ka pasisingil, sa nagatang tutok sa simoy at sa langit ng pagaw, ay tinatang tulad, awit sa pagkayang minamahal, ang isang ng matawad mo'y tagumpay na naghihiling, ang bituin at araw niya kailan pamay di maghihiling. Lumalang araw ng warhagit pagsinta, mo'y langit sa pilit mo. Ang hindi kaya ng pagkay mga aking, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
Let us put ourselves in God's holy presence. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Our Father in heaven, we thank you for gathering us here today for the General Members Meeting of the Fintech Alliance. Please bless our speakers and everyone in this meeting, and may you guide us in our efforts to bring financial and digital inclusion to our fellow Filipinos. May you bless our path and guide us as we endeavor to help everyone. And may you bless all of us here today. And we ask all of this in the mighty name of Jesus Christ, your Son, our Lord. Amen.
Thank you, Ton. And of course, again, good afternoon to all our Fintech Alliance members. This is our 2021 general membership meeting to all the Fintech Alliance members. And we made sure that this activity will be made public. We are now live via our FB and LinkedIn and YouTube pages, as well as we are being streamed live through the various social media platforms of all our Fintech Alliance members, because this topic is very much, this is really very relevant and important to everyone, especially for those advocates for financial inclusion and digital literacy, insofar as the fintech industry is supporting the programs and initiatives of BSP Governor Diokno and the entire BSP and the government in terms of promoting a sustainable digital economy for the Philippines. And we are very fortunate that this afternoon we have with us the newly appointed Deputy Governor of the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, who will be tasked to handle and manage the newly created sector, which is called the Payments and Currency Management sector. And in fact, we are also fortunate that this will be his first public forum or public appearance together with the fintech industry in the Philippines. So without further ado, I just would like to introduce our esteemed guest of honor and speaker this afternoon at our general membership meeting for the Fintech Alliance for 2021. His name is Mamerto Tangonan. He's a very good friend of mine for over 10 years now. And he's as I've said, he's the head of the Payments and Currency Management sector of the BSP, tasked to address the interplay between digital money and physical currency and support the digital transformation of the country's financial services. He leads PCMS in maintaining the safety and integrity of the Philippine currency and integrity of the as well as ensuring a well-functioning payments and cash ecosystem that fosters long-term economic growth. He brings with him over 28 years of experience in digital and traditional financial services, telecommunications, technology, financial inclusion, and consulting services. Deputy Governor Tangonan took his bachelor's degree in civil engineering from the University of the Philippines and his executive MBA from the Asian Institute of Management. Friends, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our guest of honor and speaker this afternoon, no other than BSP Deputy Governor Mamerto Mertangon.
Thank you very much for the warm introduction, Lito. And good afternoon to the officers and members of the Fintech Alliance Philippines. Thank you for inviting me to be with you in your first general membership meeting for the year. I understand that this is an organization of players in the digital finance space in the Philippines, working on expanding a sustainable digital finance ecosystem through innovation, collaboration, and interconnection, or what we also call interoperability, with the goal of promoting inclusive growth and financial inclusion. You know, these goals are very close to the heart of the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas. In our sector, the Payments and Currency Management Sector, or PCMS for short, contributes to the achievement of these goals. That's why I'm very happy to be here with you. So let me share with you more about our newly minted sector at the BSP. Our responsibility, like what Lito mentioned earlier, is to manage the interplay of physical currency and digital money. These two sounds worlds apart, but they are really one in working to ensure a well-functioning payments and cash ecosystem that supports sustained and inclusive economic growth. On the physical cash side, our sector performs overall currency management to ensure the continued public trust and the adequate supply of currency in a most cost-efficient way. Key functions include currency forecasting, currency operations, currency integrity initiatives, and currency and securities production. Interestingly, we also have the gold refinery. And because of our expertise in currency and securities production, we have also been tasked to print the national ID for all Filipinos. The other part of the sector oversees the payment systems and operates the payment and settlement service of the BSP, called the PhilPass. Our sector is responsible for ensuring an efficient, safe, and reliable payment system in the country and contribute to the smooth functioning of the financial markets. Organizationally, we have three subsectors, namely the Payments and Currency Development subsector, the Payments and Currency Management Operations subsector, the Currency and Securities Production subsector. With the creation of the PCMS, BSP hopes to develop a more holistic view of physical currency and the digital payment systems. While cash will remain, our sector will support and further stimulate the shifting preference of Filipinos towards digital payments, as it brings a lot of benefits to the public and our society. Hence, BSP issued the National Retail Payment System, or NRPS, which is a policy and regulatory framework to ensure a safe, efficient, and reliable retail payment system in the country. We have seen the enormous growth and importance of digital payments, especially InstaPay and PesoNet during the past year. To ensure continued growth of digital retail payments beyond these two highly successful payment services, the BSP is implementing the Digital Payments Transformation Roadmap for 2020 to 2023. The roadmap charts the BSP's current initiatives and strategy in advancing an efficient, inclusive, safe, and secure digital payments ecosystem. So let me talk about the roadmap. It identifies two key strategic objectives. First, the strengthening of customer preference for digital payments by converting 50% of the total volume of retail payments into digital form and expanding the number of financially included Filipinos to 70% of adults by onboarding them to the formal financial system through the use of payment or transaction accounts. The second is the availability of more innovative digital financial products and services designed to be responsive to the needs of consumers, enabled by a digital ID or or what's now called as the PhilSys, and supported by the availability of a next-generation payment and settlement system to facilitate real-time processing of financial transactions. The said objectives are strategically anchored on these three critical pillars, which are envisaged to successfully transform the cash-heavy Philippine economy into a more cash-light economy. The first is the development of digital payment streams or use cases, which will accelerate wider acceptance and use among individuals, businesses, and government. The second is the establishment of the necessary digital finance infrastructure to facilitate interoperability in the digital payments ecosystem, allowing providers to offer a wider array of affordable products and services. The third is the implementation of digital governance standards that will safeguard the integrity and privacy of consumer data and ensure appropriate governance and regulation of digital products and services. The roadmap also recognized the broader challenges to the development of a digital payment ecosystem and financial inclusion, key among which is the state of access to the quality of internet connectivity. This challenge may be addressed by exploring the use of satellite communications technology in delivering internet connectivity to hard-to-reach rural places. Our thrust to promote digitalization of payments is also strategically geared towards furthering financial inclusion, as we view the two to be mutually reinforcing. They go hand in hand, with each one enabling the other. With the launch of the Digital Payments Transformation Roadmap, we aim to hit two birds with one stone. We are securing the digitalization of payments and increasing the number of Filipinos with access to financial services. Now you ask, what can you, as members of the Fintech Alliance Philippines, do to contribute to these initiatives by the BSP and the PCMS? Well, one is by leveraging your technology and business expertise to bring digital financial services even closer to the remote areas of the country by opening transaction accounts for the people. Tell them and show them how owning transaction accounts and using digital financial services, especially payments, can help them improve their lives. Aside from expanding your reach, I would like to see you participating actively in the digital payments transformation rollout as we support the industry in launching new and exciting digital payment services such as the QRPH, merchant payments, the interoperable bills payment service, the request to pay service, and next year, the direct debit service. Toward these ends, the BSP, particularly our PCMS sector, will be happy to collaborate with you, support you, and help you be successful. Maraming salamat po.
Welcome to Fintech Alliance, DJ Mert. Thank you so much for accepting our invitation. Certainly, what you have mentioned about the roadmap of the e-peso or the arrangement on the digital is exactly the same as the alliance strategy and as well as the alliance vision, which is also into financial inclusion. So may I, Gay, no, can we go through already the Q&A here?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Good afternoon, DG Mert.
Good afternoon,
Yes.
Gay.
May I ask the first question, DG Mert? No. What difference are we going to feel in terms of costing? Like at the moment, the peso and InstaPay, peso not InstaPay, they're actually free because of the borrow one, borrow two. And what we're expecting when you're trying to do a financial inclusion would be on the cost side and to promote more digital payments. Where are we looking at in terms of the costing? Will this be cheaper because they're like averaging about 50 pesos at the moment? We're not paying it. with this transformation? Are you expecting cheaper way of doing digital payments?
Well, first of all, we would like the services, digital payment services, to be available to the consumers who need them. Not only individuals, but also businesses and even government. Um, so one component of to enable the industry to deliver these important services is, of course, to make it a worthwhile operation um, in order to be sustainable. So we, of course, expect that the industry will be charging fees for these services. Um, and we also expect that these fees be reasonable, um, enough to cover the costs, as well as to um, make a reasonable profit to also cover future investments in even innovating these services. So we recognize and support that, but our role to help ensure that the fees remain reasonable is to um, ensure an open and level playing field, or a one that fosters competition while also driving innovation.
Mhm.
So that should keep the fees reasonable for
Yes.
Right.
consumers.
Okay, over to you, Gay.
Yes, hi. Good afternoon again, DG Mert. Very a big honor for us to have you here. Anyway, I'm taking one question from the audience. What are the areas that BSP would like new startups to focus on? I guess to prioritize or strategize on when it comes to payments.
Yeah. Again, as I've mentioned, we want you to be successful, because in your success guarantees the availability of these digital payment services that the people need. So we would like to see you really expand your reach in terms of making transaction accounts, opening and maintaining these transaction accounts um, um, accessible to people wherever they may be. Um, I know you can, you have the expertise to do that. And also to make the proposition of owning transaction accounts, and to make sure that the consumers appreciate the value of owning one. um, I would like to see you supporting and the existing digital payment services like InstaPay and PesoNet, and beyond that, those that will be coming to the market soon, like as I've mentioned, QR, PH merchant payments, um, also the interoperable bills payment, and request to pay.
Yeah, that's very good to know, DG Mert. The anchoring on financial inclusion, and I guess as you may know, with Fintech Alliance, we're very supportive about that. From the angle of a regulator, historically and from other countries, their particularly payment providers are lightly regulated. So I want to get your view. To what degree is regulation an important factor for payment providers? Is there a balance between compliance with and moral suasion?
Yes, Gay. Our main mandate is to ensure that the economy has access to a safe, reliable, and efficient payment system. So we will ensure that the industry remains competitive, that there is a level playing field, that it is inclusive, that those players who are qualified and meet the criteria for safety, reliability, and efficiency could participate. Um, and to that, we will have to, of course, um, issue or formulate the proportional policies to ensure those, to ensure that we achieve our mandate, while not being not being an overly regulated industry.
Thank you, DG Mert. That's very good news for the industry players. Over to you, Ida.
Okay. Sorry. DigiMark, I'm shifting towards digital banking this time, no? Because as we know, to expand our network, at the moment, the popular ones are GCash and PayMaya going into and the outskirts. And with the advent also of the national ID or Philippine ID, we would be having a lot of these digital account openings. There's been there should I call it sprout of, or there's plenty of banks looking at the Philippines, and there's few licenses already being provided. How are you looking into continuing to open the digital banking in the Philippines to the world? And will in Singapore, I understand they actually put a cap on the limit of those ones entering digital bank. Would that be the same for BSP as far as Philippines is concerned? Or are you looking at more the merrier because that's going to be healthy competition?
Thank you, Ida. That question could best be addressed to my colleague, Deputy Governor Chuchi Fonasher of the financial supervision sector, as their sector is the one managing and supervising the financial institutions, including licensing of digital banks. But that said, my point here is that um, that the digital banks who would be licensed to operate in the Philippines, I would like to extend our support and help ensure that number one, you have access to the NRPS, and second, that you also enrich your customer offerings by participating in not only InstaPay and PesoNet, but also in the uh, forthcoming additional new digital payment streams.
Okay. Can I follow this through, Gay? Is that okay?
Yes, yes, it's okay.
And this also involves a lot of the Fintech Alliance members, which, by the way, approximately 40% are into lending or P2P platform. So, hand in hand with this, what I need to check is how are we going to get the buy-in of the consumer? Because the target of 70% adult is really quite I'm not even sure it's high rate, but it seems like a big, hairy, audacious goal. But that's being positive about it. How do we get more buy-in from the consumer? Sorry, may I segue on that question? Because the way I see it, the more that they are using their account digitally, the more that we can establish their credit rating, and that way the digital lenders such as members could help them too in terms of funding in the future. So, DG,
Yeah, thanks, Ida. So about your question on um,
buy-in of the consumer in
paying
terms
buy-in,
of yeah,
yeah,
digital.
yeah. You know what, Ida? When the BSP, way back in 2015, set the target of having a share of digital payments of 20% by 2020.
Mhm.
You know, very people actually believe that. But you know, the BSP was committed to it, and as you know, and launched the National Retail Payment System and the PesoNet and InstaPay, and by 2018, that has gone up from 1% in 2013 to 10%. And in 2020, in indications show us, or recent measurements indicate to us that we may have come close or even hit the 20% by 2020 target. We're just, you know, reviewing the model and the results over and over again, just to make sure that you know, it is um, accurate, or a good estimate of what is out there. But yeah, so what I'm saying here, Ida, is okay, 50%, 2 years, yeah, may sound really, if I may use your term, audacious. But again, we're starting at a much better, or with a much better platform now, with the NRPS in place, and it has become more clearly understood by the participants, by players like you, and that makes it easier, and I would even say exponential, for more participants to come in, and we'll see emergence of more vibrant competition, and more innovation, and therefore those are the key drivers for us to reach that share of digital payments over total payment transaction volume.
So we're saying that's kind of realistic, not really that audacious. You mentioned about the
Achievable.
national achievable. Okay. You mentioned about the national ID. How can this impact? How can it help in terms of achieving this goal? Because I understand we already changed from two identification to only one. If you
Mhm.
want to add on, expand on this, DG.
Yes, Ida. That is very critical for us to reach the BSP's target of having 70% of adults owning transaction accounts or being financially included. For one, it helps players like you to reduce the cost of KYC, or know your customer. So that means um, it reduces your cost a lot to open accounts and onboard new customers. Um, and as your costs are driven downwards, then it becomes easier and easier for you to reach more and more people. So the digital ID is really, which will become the primary ID of the Philippines, meaning, you know, you only need to present your what you will have own as the like a PhilSys number, or your ID. And that should open doors for you in terms of not only opening transaction accounts, but also performing other transactions with the government, as well as the private sector as well.
So
Talagang
Ida,
one-touch up. Yep.
may I
That's
follow
almost
through? Yes, may I follow through on that question, DG Mert? So national ID. I mean, I just want to get your personal thoughts, if you may, because if you see the national ID as it stands right now, it's more of validation of identity, and you put it in the analogy of the Social Security ID of the U.S. Practically, if you don't have SS number, you cannot live your life. everything is anchored to the social security number. Do you see this national ID evolving to such? Do you think there's a positive direction by evolving to such in the same manner as the social security ID is being utilized in the US?
Uh, Thank you, Gay. I believe so. Like as you've mentioned, like in the US, the SS number is like a key that opens doors to accessing services. It's even, it's even like an infrastructure that facilitated the distribution of their cash subsidies during, during their emergency response for the COVID pandemic, early in the
Yes.
pandemic year. Um, for us, actually, I think it will have the same outcome as, it tells you that your PhilSys ID will tell, um, um, not only not you, but the parties that you wish to transact with. Number one, who you are, and number two is that, I mean, if you are really who you
Mm-hmm.
say you are.
Yes.
So like if you're like Gay Santos, okay, great, but are you really the Gay Santos? So um, and so that immediately authenticates you and um, extinguishes all doubt about your identity, and therefore access to transactions that you wish your transacting counterparty would have access to, could really help them provide you the services that you're seeking.
So DG Mert, in terms of, it seems like you're in favor of the more comprehensive utilization of the national ID. If correct me if I'm wrong. But that being said, do you think the country is culturally ready to have that expanded usage of national ID? Because my view is that it needs work in terms of Filipinos really valuing non-monetary assets that they own, and in this case, their identity. Is there any effort from BSP or even in the payments division itself to further that right mindset to value one's asset, not just because it's can be monetary, it can be translated to a monetary value, but in this particular case, it's the identity.
Yeah, thank you, Gay. Well, I believe that all of us have the responsibility to um, communicate and ensure that our people really value this non-monetary asset. And it shouldn't be difficult, Gay, because like for all sectors of society, even with our low-income Filipinos who can easily um, be able to access subsidies and other forms of social assistance from the government through the use of these national ID. Um, so that is a direct benefit to um, our fellow Filipinos belonging to that sector, and of course to, I mean, people like you, Ida, Lito. Of course, you are already in a position to appreciate the ease by and the efficiency by which this ID could help you transact and get you what you want.
Yes. So, DG Mert, I'm going to segue to the statement, data is the new gold, as you know. I'm sure you've heard about that. So data now is being monetized. And what is the specific role of your unit to ensure that, one, people are aware that their data will be used in a responsible way, and at the same time strike the balance of not too much monetizing on the part of the service provider. So what particular measures are you taking to ensure that there's just that balance of a win-win situation without passing too much cost, but at the same time the consumers understanding how their data will be utilized by the service providers?
Mm-hmm. Yes, Gay. So part of our mandate is to ensure a safe um, national payment system. So that includes being, of course, compliant with our data privacy laws that are meant to ensure the protection of the consuming public. So their their consent has to be obtained, and full understanding of the scope and extent by which their data uh, would be used. So that has to be made clear to them. Players like yourselves, of course, need to practice responsibility to ensure that your customers are adequately and their data are adequately protected. Um, I understand, Gay, that these data could help you access um, some financial services in a more efficient way, like credit or insurance. Um, but if these are done responsibly and consumers are fully aware of the scope and extent that their data will be shared, and as we remain faithful to those, then yeah, the um, uh, consumer gets what he or she wants, and of course, by delivering that service, you gain your return. So that's a beautiful arrangement.
Thank you,
Yeah.
DG Mert. Over to you, Ida.
Yeah, just following through, we have a question here from Facebook, I think. Is BSP or maybe coordination with the ICT ready and capable of protecting data or mass information from cybercrime in relation to the implementation of national ID? So I guess the question is more of uh, as you've practically answered this, but it's expanding in a way the duty of BSP in coordination with the ICT, how to protect the data.
Mhm. In terms of the data protection, Ida, of the elements in the national ID, I'd rather that matter be referred to the DICT on in terms of the
Yes,
nuts and bolts and how that is
understand.
or cybersecurity is implemented there. But in as far as PCMS is concerned, the moment that these data are used by um, um, the payments participants or the registered operators of payment system, then they are bound to comply with the data privacy laws and also the specific regulations for it issued by the
Yeah,
BSP.
that, yeah, understand that too. Couple of questions about the national ID. One is, since you are with Banco Central, what about the financial companies um, not regulated by Banco Central? Can they use the national ID database? Can that be made available for them?
Um, well, I think that's within the purview of the Philippine Statistics Authority, or the PSA. They are the overall. I believe they are the overall manager of the PhilC's ID. So it's I don't want to preempt their authority, but the authority
But it's
is
something that,
lodged in that.
yeah, we can probably connect to, as long as there's a waiver of the privacy of information, and the lenders can, or the financial companies can most likely connect it to. But there's another question
Yes,
here.
Tita. When the underlying need and the service is clear and transparent, then I'm sure the PSA will consider that.
Okay. What about the timeline of the national ID? I know that was launched October 12, because we were there, and the implementation being coordinated, aligned with AMLC, I beg your pardon, and NPC regulations. The alignment with AMLC and NPC, that was fairly well published. But if you may wish to expand on this, DG.
Mm-hmm.
One is alignment, and the
Right.
other one is when the implementation.
Again, the PSA is the has the overall supervision and management of this project and the law. About what has been announced is that in fact, the PSA has already started doing registration. They have set up booths where and they're registering. They've also gone like house to house in certain areas to start registering people, and they've also I understand started capturing biometric information to be matched with the data to support the ID. So yeah, it's coming soon, and as we speak, Ida, we're
Implementing.
printing that, we're producing the cards, we're
Yeah.
printing them.
In fact, I understand that. Well, by the way, the AMLC and PC, they're hand in hand in the creation and looking into the Philippine ID. So that answers that. Mikhail, who asked the question. As for the implementation, yeah, it's already being implemented. Thank you, DG. Over to you, Gay.
Yes. So, very, very simple question, DG Mert. Which is the more appropriate phrase, cashless or cash light economy? So, I guess in that regard, would you think we can imagine really a cashless society?
To your question, Gay, I believe that the more appropriate would be cash light, because well, at least at my age, it it's still remote to eliminate the use for cash. There will be remaining use cases where cash would be a more reasonable option. But that what we are working towards, to, as I've mentioned earlier, is really to support the shifting preference and the trend of the Filipino people towards more digital payment system, especially in what they call the new world, right? Where
Yes.
we have to be mindful of health risks, and more than that, as it enables new and emerging business models that we need at this time with
Keep in
the
mind.
restrictions in mobility.
Yes, yes. So, DG Mirth, I think it's very challenging times. That's an understatement. But I think the silver lining for me is that the government, I can see, is thinking outside the box. So you have the e-commerce roadmap, you have the digital payments transformation roadmap. So that being said, ang hope mo naman, syempre, the one hand is knowing what the other hand is doing. So what is the specific collaboration between the e-commerce roadmap and the digital payments transformation roadmap?
Well, for the e-commerce roadmap that is being led by the Department of Trade and Industry, of course, we support them in really wanting to see the growth of e-commerce in the Philippines as they democratize access to markets and really enable even micro small enterprise to market their goods and services, especially at this time. That said, one of the challenges that was previously mentioned in the e-commerce roadmap is the appropriate digital payments for online purchases and e-commerce. So that's why we apart from the method that we already are familiar with, like payment cards, we're the industry, and we're supporting them in this, is launching the QRPH
Mhm.
merchant payments. So that could be used for online purchase and e-commerce purchase. So that should address that constraint in the e-commerce roadmap.
Thank you, DG Mert. Over to you, Ida. I think we're down to 10 minutes and then, yeah.
There's still plenty of questions, but this time it's about the ECTs, which is also part of the digital transformation. Could you explain that particularly e-payment ecosystem on key cities, DG?
Okay. I'm not sure that is in the, well, it could be in the digital payments transformation roadmap, Ida, but what I can say about it is that, of course, in the digital payments can really help LGUs and cities in terms of driving revenues, and also with the ease and efficiency of disbursing payments and also disbursing social subsidies.
And I
So
understand, yeah.
we would like to see more cities use more of digital payments.
I understand the cities got the business portal, so that's part and parcel of the whole transformation. Um, okay, so just may I just have one more question? Just put it in layman's terms. There are farmers out there that would walk two 2 hours just to encash a check, and how they cannot yet appreciate the use of digital payments, that they don't really have to do that at this point. If you can expand on that, DG.
Yes. So, well, the farmers need a lot of payment services for various reasons. Of course, number one would be to receive a payment for their produce. Second would be to spend for inputs, production inputs, or even pay labor, like agricultural workers, um, or even access insurance, particularly crop insurance for to protect themselves. So I hope that the industry and um, players like you make this accessible to the farmers. Um, y- there more than as of 2019, there's already over 52% of Filipinos owning smartphones. So really, people, even farmers, are already becoming more ready in terms of accessing digital payments. So I hope that you reach out to them and tell them the good news, tell them how easy it is, and provide them that service, and do what you do best. You build ecosystems around agriculture value chains that could help farmers, access inputs directly, um, help them consolidate logistical support services, help them access credit, um, and even crop insurance, or accident insurance, for that life insurance for that matter.
Okay. So I think I just have one, Ida, one question to DG Mert, no, before, kasi I think we only have 6 minutes left. I think uh, I think part of the payments roadmap, because that is now your area of focus for the Philippines. One of the items that the industry is pushing is on the use of mobile number as the proxy account number,
Oh, yes.
where you would now be able to send money to anyone with any bank provider or mobile wallet provider using the mobile number in lieu of the account number. So maybe you can further expound on this, and this is actually a good news for everyone, because it would be very few of Filipinos would practically have bank accounts, would actually memorize their long 15 to 16 to even 18 digit account numbers, no? But they'll be more parang alam mo yun, they would be it would be much easier for them to just send money using a mobile number. So can you expound on that as to when and how it would be implemented?
Yeah. Um, yes, Lito, that certainly is a good service. I've seen that work so well in other jurisdictions, and the benefits that you mentioned, Lito, are real. That people in those countries really say that it makes it a lot easier for them to identify payees and have the confidence that they got the right payees. So they have more confidence in the service. Yes, I would like to work with the industry, to have that in a responsible and safe uh, manner. And if there are supporting digital infrastructures that may be needed, then let's work together to find the most efficient industry arrangement by which you are enabled, and the public can enjoy the benefits of this proxy service.
Thank you, DG. Ida?
Thank you so much, DG. May we have last words from you?
Um, well, I'm glad that you invited me to the first general membership meeting during this year. I'm happy to interact with you once more, and give you a better view of what the new sector in the BSP is, and what our roles are. Um, so I guess my parting words, Ida, would be that we have a convergence of goals. We both want the same thing, and there should be nothing that can stop us from collaborating, and making sure that both our goals are met for our side, that it remains efficient, safe, and reliable payment service that you are going to launch, and also for you to discharge your responsibilities very responsibly. And yeah, I'll be happy to see you be very successful in this industry.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Executive
Yeah, so
Director, wish to say something?
Yes, thank you, DG Mert. It's a very great privilege to be interacting with you for the first time in a different role, and I'm very glad that Banco Central has someone like you in their entity, and I'm sure we're all gonna be working together towards one goal of promoting greater inclusion for the country. Thank you for your time.
yes,
Thank
and of
you.
course,
Thank you, Lito. Thank you, Ida.
yes, yeah. Thank you so much on behalf of the entire FinTech Alliance, industry and the members. We would like to thank you once again, DG Mert, for giving us sharing with us your valuable time, and of course your expertise, your knowledge, and your vision, as well as your plans towards creating a sustainable payments landscape, digital payments landscape for the Philippines. And with that, thank you so much, and good afternoon to everyone.
Good afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.